so disappointed in all of you. So that's so unprofessional.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, he's got invisible wine. Go past minor illusion just to prove his point.
Also, I've been drinking since the start of this game, so you know.
Hey.
Okay, well, we're back, which is great. So the guys have just been dealing with this fire snake for the past hour, which has been great. And of course, I'm going to do my usual plug for we just come back from break. So, of course, if you like what you're seeing here, come and join us on Wednesday for Jack's Fun House with Mr. John Cooper from 7 till 10 on Wednesday. And I think that would be a really great game. But we're back to getting rid of a druid and finding a tree. Might be a good idea. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so
I just ran away. That was amazing. I just ran into the picture of Tunk.
He became Tunk. You can't hear us.
There he is.
Well,
Okay, so let's go back over to the screen. So you just found these beautiful sapphires wrapped up, and Erky has just found out that these leaves seem unnatural in their kind of design or evolution, shall we say, and it kind of makes them feel quite unwell from the thought of something being a tree but being evil and nasty.
I think while that was happening, while they were looking at the tree, Pups was going to pull out one of the gems that he found on the ranger, and just gesture it to Oshi like he found it on the floor, and say, "Oshi, I think you missed one." And then like,
you're gone.
No, you go.
And Oshi kind of knows, but just kind of sticks out her hand like, "Thanks."
And as he puts it down into her hand, he gives her 5 hit points. Lay on hands.
Thank you.
just too proud.
But it doesn't say a word to anyone. Just puts it in the hand.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that you guys make your way back out of this chamber, back into the rift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move you guys around. Let's get you back up here.
And it looks like it starts to get a little tight to the southwest.
Who am I missing? Yeah. So see, it goes to the southwest. It seems as if it kind of goes right down to a close in the southwest. So that kind of doesn't bother you too much about looking over there. But you kind of like see that it does continue northwards, and of course you've got that corridor that continues down to the south as well that Oshi had a look at earlier.
More rift or something more stable?
I think we should go down the corridor, personally.
Then let's do it.
Okay.
And
So
Baggy
who's leading? Oh, Baggy's headed to the order. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. So she kind of comes around the corner, and it's quite nice to step up the 2 foot onto something that feels a bit more built, a bit more made, and a bit more stable. As you kind of make your way down south, and you see that it turns and then continues south again. And just as you round this corner, I'm just going to move you across actually. You have a feeling that the corridor is going to end quite soon.
She quickly turns back to Tunk and just sort of quite quietly, but just enough so that he can hear, just says, "Tunk, this time, whatever happens, try not to run off without us." Okay. And then she carries on further down.
Tunk is still kind of, his rage is still slowly subsiding, so he chooses to say nothing and just kind of grunts.
So at the end of the corridor, you see that there's like this old stone door, and it seems to be completely closed and locked on this door. It doesn't look locked; it just looks closed.
Okay. Baggi goes up to the door and just presses her ear next to it to see what she can hear. If there's anything on the other side.
Now you hear nothing.
Hear nothing. Okay. She turns back to the rest of the group and says, "We have no idea what's going to be on the other side of this. Let's get ready." And I think she's just going to, very as quietly as possible, try and open the door.
So you kind of lean onto the door and it doesn't move at all. So you then start to engage your strength to try and push it open. So let's do an athletics check. See if you can push the door open.
Come on.
As you really struggle and you push your shoulder into it, it still doesn't move.
Okay. She turns back to the group and says, It's really heavy. Can you guys come help me?" She calls over Pups and Oshi.
And Oshi sees the door, sees it's stone, and says to Tunk, "It's stone." And ushers him over.
She's over.
And then she moves back because she can't take no more hit points.
Mm-hmm. So you guys go try and push the door again. So I'm going to say...
yeah.
Oh.
I was going to say, can Tunk, if it is stone, can you make a history check on the door?
Yeah, sure.
So I will add double to my proficiency bonus. So this is going to be +2,
+2.
as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's lightning outside.
Yeah, I just saw that.
17. Great.
17.
So you can tell that this door has not been opened for a very long time. And it's more that it's stuck than it is than that it is locked. It is a very big piece of stone.
I turn to the group and say, "This door is old. No been through it while."
Does anyone have a crowbar or something that we could wedge into the door?
And
maybe two of you try pushing it together. One person won't do.
Yeah.
And Oshi whips out a crowbar.
Okay. Who do you hand it to?
What's in this pack? What's in this pack? That is awesome.
And hands it to Tunk, but smiles at Pups like a genuine smile.
Okay, so if
First one of the game.
if Tunk does the athletics, they'll get advantage on it essentially because of the crowbar.
So it's not strength. Okay.
20.
20. Great. So you kind of push it in, and actually, what you realise is that it pulls open. But it's still an extremely heavy door, and you can see Tunk's like straining to pull it open. So you pop the door open, and you kind of open into this room, and it's like faded mosaic tiles decorate parts of the walls, but most of them have fallen to dust and have covered the floor and shattered. Situated in the centre of the chamber stands a slim pedestal of a rusted iron shaped like an upright dragon. In the dragon's mouth rests an empty tray.
Can I see if I can I religion check the dragon, see if it's got any Ashadellon?
Yeah. Great. So this is. Carry on.
I was going to ask if I could make a religion check to see if this was served a particular purpose in terms of just like what this might be for.
Okay, so let's do that as well then. So we've got 2 questions happening right now, so we can do them two separate. Great. Okay, so so you can see that this is clearly Ashodelon, a shrine to Ashodelon, because if you can see the humanoid sort of winged figure on the chest. It seems to you, Erky, that this is probably acted as a normal offering shrine to the god, but of course hasn't been used for a very, very, very long time. Other than that, the room is completely empty.
She turns and starts to walk back up.
Yeah, realizing the wasted journey.
Do there appear to be, like, from where I'm standing, I'll see, are there other ways out of the room? Or are there any doors? I asked to the group in the front.
Yeah, I think they don't see any way.
Okay. I will start following Ashi. And like kind of looking back saying, I guess we're leaving?
I think Baggy's slightly annoyed at the fact that it was her idea to go down the corridor and everyone seems to be leaving. I think she goes in just to have a closer look at the dragon and at the tray.
I think, could you do a wisdom saving throw for me, please, Baggy?
Yeah. Oh. Hi.
Yeah, you feel the complete and utter disappointment in yourself, which is exactly what Oshi wanted you to think, being it was her idea in the first place. But you don't remember any of that. What you remember is it was your idea to go down south, and you do feel really disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if you were successful in that, you would have turned around and blamed Oshi for it and felt a lot better. And I really want to unravel this Oshi manipulation technique that is going on.
Listen, kick your auntie while she's down. Come on.
They would never do that to a auntie. Never.
No. Well, Maggie's just super, super sad now. She's felt that pain. She feels like rubbish. So yeah, she's not happy.
Does Pups see this?
Yeah, probably. I don't think she's very good at hiding it when she really feels it this badly.
I think before we go back up, then Pups is going to take the other 2 gems, hand them to Baggy, and just gesture at the tray and just say, "Make a wish."
I think Baggy takes the gems. She smiles at Pups because she knows she's trying to make him feel better. But she also just she's not really too bothered about gems and stuff or wishes. So I think she just kind of gives him a smile like thanks and then just starts following on.
Oh.
So does she keep the gems or does she put them on the tray?
Yeah, do you keep the gems or do you pop it on the tray?
Yeah, she is. She's gonna go and put them on the tray.
Cool. So you pop them down.
Yeah.
And they just hear, "Oh, such nice gems."
And Baggy looks around. Does she know where that sound has come from?
It's kind of coming from inside your head a little bit.
Ah, okay.
You look strong, orc.
And Baggy goes, I am strong.
Yes, you are. Thank you for the gems. I'd bestow a gift.
What gift?
And you look down at your... What's your main weapon again? Is it a big axe? Is it an axe you use?
Yeah, battle axe.
Look down at your battle axe, and a battle axe just goes... and goes to flame. So your battle axe is going to give a 1d4 fire damage every time it attacks, and is regarded as being magic.
Yes.
Thank
That is
you,
amazing.
orc.
And Baggy just goes, "Thank you," and looks down at this weapon, and then immediately goes back to everybody else to show it off.
So second you turn around, it says to you, "Clear my cathedral. Burn that tree."
And she turns back and says, "I will." And then turns to everybody else and just goes, "You will never guess what just happened." And she holds it up like, "Look." And then actually, I think she turns to Pups and says, "Thank you," and takes him by the hand and is like, "Thank you." And then I think she runs over to Erky just to sort of clarify what's happened, because I think she sees him as the one that's more like has all the knowledge about magic and all that kind of stuff, so shows it to Erky.
Should I make a religion check, or does Erky kind of put two and two together? Or
I think Erky puts two and two together. The idea of a gift, an offering, like an offering area, is very clear in your kind of religion and kind of ideas of that.
Well, it seems pretty apparent that you gave a gift to an evil dragon god, and it gave you a gift back. And he looks a little, annoyed, but he's not sure what to think.
And Oshi, after hearing this, has walked back and stood next to Erky, and she, through clenched teeth, says, "And do you still need my longbow?"
Oh shit!
And I think Baggy goes, "Well, do you need that longbow?"
And she says, and Oshi says, "Well, it's 2 gold pieces a day, so it's entirely up to you."
And I think Baggy, kind of annoyed that Oshi's kind of bring down the mood.
Can you roll history for me?
Who?
Baggy.
Yeah. Will do.
Wasn't it 1 gold piece a day?
I like that you're using history checks for like memory on Oshi's behavior like in recent past. That is amazing.
Yeah, wasn't it one? Wasn't it 1 gold piece?
It was 1 gold piece a day. So Baggy goes, "Well, actually, you said only 1 gold piece a day. So for now, I'm going to keep it." And then just starts marching past her. With a new confidence in her cool fiery axe. Yeah.
And
very cool.
Erky sees that Oshi's a little annoyed, and he kind of whispers to her, "Gifts from evil deities often come with great prices, so don't be too upset."
And Oshi says, "I'm not upset."
And he's like, "Of course you're not."
Very nice. So again, I guess you guys go to the north.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys follow the rift. I'm actually just going to pick up your pieces, actually, and I'll just move you where you need to go. Okay.
I'm going to go northeast down the other end of the rift.
Yeah, that's where you're going to go.
Cool.
Okay. So you go kind of all the way... Ooh, sorry. You go all the way to the northeast. So keep moving you up. And it kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter until you make your way through, like the wall suddenly like cracks open and you realise that you're in a built square. There seems to be a door that kind of leads outwards, but the door is open. So who's the first person that kind of comes out into the room? Is it Baggy? Because considering you are the one who's leading.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Baggy, you notice it straight away. What do you do from that point?
I think she immediately, I think, wants to go up to the door on the other side that's like she can see that it's open.
Mhm.
I think she wants to have a little peer around the corner.
So you stump forward.
Yeah.
Nice and
Yeah.
noisy. And you pop your head into this corridor. And what
Yeah.
you see is, let me just check something. 47. Yep. What you see is, like, as you pop your head in, there's 2 rows of these like dragon carved marble columns that go down the
Right.
length of the hall. They're almost completely covered in an luminescent like fungus. The floor is cracked and stained, and many small wooden tables go across the entirety of the room. The contents of the table include some mortars and pestles, small tools, bowls with crushed leaves, chopped fungus stalks, and other plant specimens. The many doors leading off from this hall are all open. Could you do a perception check for me?
Yeah.
What you hear is like chatterings, very similar chatterings to what you heard upstairs. I think you've kind of can recognize the language a bit more, and you recognize this as Goblin. You don't know what it's saying, but you can hear this like chattering of Goblin coming through the open doors of this area.
Okay. Baggy turns around to the group, says, I can hear goblins, but I can't see them. And it looks like some kind of place where they're creating something or making something, almost like a kitchen. And I think she kind of gestures to them to be quiet, but that they should follow her. And she sort of sneaks up to that first table that she can see ahead of her.
Cool. So let's do. I think let's do a quick stealth.
Yeah. See how quietly she can go.
Perfect. And you go over to one of the small tables, and you see these like mashed leaves and fungus and bark and like powdered roots right across it. Do you want to kind of like investigate what's on the table?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let's do a nature check, please.
Nature.
Perfect. You see very, very kind of common varieties of trees and shrubs and funguses, but all of the specimens seem to be sun-starved. So they've like grown sickly in this very dark environment, and they haven't kind of grown to a healthy specimen, which has kind of created these. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, and you kind of figure out that they're trying to figure out a way of making these plants grow better in this dark environment.
Okay.
You also, actually, yeah, I'm going to do that to you as well. You also see a pile of herbs and supplies on the table. And you see a number of tools around it all as well. And you realise this is if you put these together, you could make a herbalism kit, and you can also make an alchemist supplies as well, if you kind of put this together.
Great. Yeah, I think she definitely wants to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got a herbalism kit and you have an alchemist surprise.
Amazing.
So they're like, vials and things like that, bits and pieces.
Yeah. Great.
You are particularly interested that the fungus that's there is also, the luminous purple is giving off light. And it's just spraying out light of this purple, on the table.
Right. I feel like Baggy, especially with the luminous stuff, I feel like she would kind of want to see if she can like touch it and hold it. I feel like she'd take her big hand and kind of like try and pick some up.
Yeah, you pick it up, you hold it in your hand, and it's safe, and you can move it around, and it just sort of shows this light around.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to burn or anything like that on your skin.
Okay, so it's quite safe. I feel like she probably puts that into her pocket in case it's useful for later.
But
And
you see, you see that there's like 6 runes that kind of go off this place.
yeah. So Baggy realizing, or at least thinking that this room has been pretty much safe, this particular room she's in, she goes back to the door and she basically gestures for all of them to come in so that she can tell them what she's seen so far.
Are we all being quiet about this, or are we all being a bit noisy?
I'd like to be quiet.
Trying.
Okay, let's do some stealth checks then, please.
Tunk will attempt to be quiet.
Ooh.
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 Tunk.
He tries his best.
Okay. So everyone kind of moves forward nice and quietly. And Tunk like bumps his shoulder into the door frame as he goes through. And he's like, oh, bollocks!
Bad door!
And he's like, bad door, bad door, bad door, bad door, bad door.
No.
And then the goblin chatter goes quiet.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it.
All right, let me see how I'm going to do this. Let's do that way. 1. Yeah, so I'm going to do these in groups, I think. Okay.
Oh.
At turns.
Ooh.
At turns.
It's-
Great. Okay, dokie. So you guys could come in. Into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first I'm going to do what's known as a surprise attack. So it's going to be a round in which these guys are gonna attack you guys,
Oh, sugar.
and then we'll go into initiative. So we'll do initiative as normal, but we'll kind of ignore it. So do a goblin, and we're going to do a commoner. Goblin commoner. Here we are. Initiative.
Do you want us to roll initiative as well?
Yes, please.
Oh, critted that initiative though. Happy days.
Can do you reckon Oshi can walk into the room and hide straight away?
Not on this particular round. So you guys can't take any actions on this round. Okay, we all done?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we'll take Fire Snake out of that. Great. Okay, so this goblin is going to take a step out. See Tunk. And he's going to go and fire his short bow at Tunk. 11 misses as it takes a step back in. This other one's going to pop his head out to here. Sees Pups and fires towards Pups with a short bow. Misses. Goes back in. Right. Commoner time. Okay, one there. My word, is that thunder?
Yeah,
That's thunder.
It's literally raining
Wow.
sideways.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this little commoner, they're going to have a little bit of an attack on Tunk with a club. Hits for
Tunk.
3 bludgeoning, and 2 bludgeoning. So that's
This is
5
Pups,
bludgeoning.
right?
That's Pups, yeah.
Oh.
These guys are going to come out and they go to Tunk,
Oh my goodness.
and they're going to do 1, 2, 18, and 16.
About it.
Some there is 0 on the bludgeoning. So you take 3 bludgeoning.
Okay.
These guys are going to come out to here. These guys are going to come out to here.
Oh my
Come
god.
out to here. And these guys are going to come out to there. Okie dokie. Now we're going to initiative. Cool. Goblin is going to have his first attack. So he steps out. And comes 1 to there. And then that's 10 foot. So he's going to use 20 foot to get to here.
Oh.
And it's going to attack Baggy with a scimitar. Hits you for
The
5
sound
slashing.
effects we've got.
Hits you for 5 slashing.
Very atmospheric.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And this goblin is going to come down to here, here and then to there, and it's going to fire. Oh, it's very busy. It's just going to ready. It's going to pull its bow out and readies to have a cleaner shot on somebody. Tunk.
Tunk can see that he's outnumbered. Despite that, we'll use rage, and we'll. How much does it take to move past people?
So it's difficult terrain, so it'll be like double.
That's okay. I just want to move to here.
Yeah, so essentially that would take you 10 feet to get there.
And
no,
because
15 feet instead of 10 feet, because it's like 5, 10, 15.
Okay. Because I haven't attacked anyone, will it provoke an opportunity attack from this fella?
Not from this fella, but for these two guys. No, it won't, because he hasn't
Still in
attacked
range
you.
for those two.
He hasn't attacked you, he attacked Baggy.
Okay, sweet. All right. Well, I will move to here. And I will. I mean, this is a bit of crack. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go for a two-handed warhammer on the one right beside me. And reckless attack that little prick as well. 18. Just head straight off. Just a clean swing, head goes flying.
So
And
you decimate that guy completely. You just chop his head off. The rest of them are like...
and Tunk lets out a blood-curdling war shout. Just bile and venom to try and intimidate them.
Do you want to do an intimidation roll?
Yes, I do.
Yes, please.
Can I still have an inspiration left over from the last session.
Do you want to use it?
Yeah, I would.
I've been
I'd like
dying to
use
give you more inspiration, but you never fucking use it, so just use it.
Oh, I've got to
well.
use it to get what? Get more.
We
Yeah, you
can't
don't
more.
get any more. Into
okay.
yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Okay, so that's
Okay, that's good enough for me. So like they look at you and they're like, and you can see the little quaking legs, and you see a little bit of pee go down someone's leg. As the commoners are a lot more scared of you. Yeah, so you realise that these guys are not as. These aren't like fighters. These are something else. They're much lower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oshi.
Oshi hides, takes out her
Okay.
short bow, and is going to get this.
Can you do a
goblin-
stealth check for me?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too difficult to get. Yeah, you're fine.
Bam.
So you hide.
Okay.
Yep.
She's going to take the goblin who's like at the point of the triangle between Baggy and that person, and so with sneak attack she's going to use her short bow.
Nice. Okay,
Ooh,
17. So it hits
yes.
with a 7. What does that look like?
no, it's a crit. It's a crit.
Oh, it is a crit. Yeah. So this is a decimated goblin. So tell me what that looks like.
The arrow flies through the air and slices all the way through this goblin's neck, and then also flies past these other two commoners just diagonally, and this goblin's neck explodes front and back, and a little bit splashes on Baggy and a little bit splashes on Erky, and then Oshi's a bit like, yeah, right, I've got my mojo back here.
All right. So Pups, can you do a dex saving throw for me?
Oh no!
Such a great description that I wanted to play this through because Okay, so you take as the arrow clunks into the side of your neck, and you're like, "Ow!" You like pull it off.
Sorry.
But you take 1. No, sorry, you take 4 piercing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I've taken off the crit just so you're aware. So you take 4 as the arrow clumps into the side of your neck.
And Oshi just shouts, "If only you were smaller."
So all of the commoners start running. They start to leave the space. If they can get out, they will get out. Nope. 30 feet. This one goes to leave. Do you want to have an opportunity attack against it? Pups and Tunk? Well, Pups. Let's say Pups, because Tunk, you're going to have another opportunity in a minute.
I think Pups is really mad from the arrow and sort of raises it up in rage and then puts it down.
Okay. Same with the other one as well. You let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then as a small doggy runs past you, Tunk.
Tunk's gonna fucking try and hit that doggy.
Okay.
We do not promote animal violence in this. It is just a term that I have used. But yeah, gonna go for a.
Yeah, cool. Right, okay, let me move it back there. Okay, what does that look like?
As the goblin tries to run by, Tunk has just kind of like swung the first head off the goblin he's hit, and then tries to go backhanded and sweeps it up, hitting it directly in the ribs as it goes by, and it gets pummeled into the wall that it's tried to run past, and kind of splats against the wall and then slumps down onto the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the rest of them start running and screaming as they kind of try and leave the room, realizing that they're not here for this, so they try to leave. Erky. So you see that there's a goblin across the way that still seems to be standing there with his scimitar, and the rest have run.
It does not appear to be looking to leave, though. It appears to be standing firm.
Yeah, standing firm.
Erky is going to run forward, slide underneath this table, and go next to the... and while he's sliding into the table, he casts as his bonus action Shillelagh on his trusty plank of wood. And then when he pops out for his action, he attacks the goblin.
Do it. Yes!
Oh!
And he goes past and swings down, and as he goes through, he can feel that it's just going to be a great hit. And tell me what that looks like.
Lil Kneecapper ends up
I love it.
hitting the left leg from the side, and the goblin kind of like falls over. And then as he's falling over, he actually bangs his head on this pillar here, which is what actually finishes him off.
You're very, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to come out of order, and I'm going to say that the commoners leave. And you spend the next 10 minutes checking out the rooms, just so we can move on. Okay, from the north west chamber, so the one over this side, over here. Yeah, you have a look and you see loads of sleeping areas, like mattresses and stuff. Southwest. You see what looks as to be a wine making facility. So I'll just move Erky in there so everyone can see it. There we go. You see wine making facilities, and you go to taste it, and it is vinegar wine. It's horrific. Really disgusting, and there's a big 2-gallon caskets of the product.
Does this look like it was the original purpose of the room, or perhaps this is now all being adapted by the new residents?
Adapted. It feels like it's been adapted. Then the central chamber, the north central chamber over here. You see that it's got some armor that's being repaired, iron needles and things like this. Implements for tailoring as they're trying to fix bits and pieces. South Central Scent Chamber over here, so let's put Tunk in there. You see like there's a big giant like diseased rat in the center of the table, and it is spread eagled on a wooden bench. It has like horrible tumors, and they look like they look woody and like fruit like, which kind of freaks you out a little bit. I'm going to let you sit on that for a sec if you want to kind of look at anything else. You also see in the corner fancy like crystal vial worth about 5 gold pieces, and it contains a really dark looking poison. I just don't want you to have it, so I've just decided not to let you even look at it. And I think Erky joins you. I'm just gonna say that Erky joins you.
Don't drink.
Yeah, you literally there's a moment of tongues like that. You're like, and you put your hand on
Yuck
it.
Yuck face.
And you look over at the rat, and you look at this dark poison, and you're like, that might be connected in some way.
The tree.
Yeah. So Erky, can you do in nature for me? Okay. So yeah, it seems to me that when you're looking at this disease rat, it looks as if parts of that same grey, bloody looking mess that was the leaf seems to be inside this rat.
Ooh, yeah.
Is the rat still alive?
The rat's dead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually been inside it. Like it's been swallowed and then spat out again, and now it has been infested by this thing.
If the tree caused this, we must end this abomination. He says to Tunk.
I always love the word.
Pups in there. Sorry.
I love the word abomination. Such a great word. And then in the northeast chamber, you find some extra weapons. You find some battered scimitars and some short bows and 40 arrows. So any of you want to build up your stores of arrows, this is a good place. But more importantly, you see a door to the northeast. Sorry. My north and west shot wrong there.
I have a quick question, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
The door to the west. I'm just trying to gauge where we've been. And that starting room had the natural passage leading out to the north when we first came down the shaft, and then there's the door on the east. Based on kind of just how we've moved, do we think the door to the west leads directly into that first chamber, or potentially the door to the west leads further somewhere, maybe off to the cavern?
Let's do an intelligence check. So let's do a history. There's my thunder. It's now kicked in. So now it's moved to South London.
Let's cross the river, mate.
Cross the river. Proper South. All right.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
I'll give it to you on that. So essentially, you realise that the room that you first started in is here.
Sorry, I wasn't. Can you ping that again? Okay. I wasn't sure if that was directly into there, or if that was potentially north of there. Yeah. Okay. But I will say to the group, that door may lead back to that first chamber, and if so, those little twig things may be beyond that door. So we may want to avoid that if there's another exit.
As Erky is saying this, Tunk has put his hammerhead on the floor and is kind of leaning on it, and you can see that he is exhausted, and that potentially all of the anger that he has felt has, although not low on health, has sapped a lot of his energy.
With the rat? What? He looks to Tunk and goes, "What not to do?" It's what we call a teachable moment. Ow.
So I'm going to say that one more time because I did the usual. Erky,
Yes.
you go down to the mouse that's on the table. So my microphone was off again. Go to the. I need to stop drinking wine.
Never.
Yeah, you put your hands down on the table and as you're examining the rat, and the rat turns and bites you on the finger, and your hand kind of raises up. You're like,
That's potentially very bad.
Tunk turns to Erky and through kind of sunken eyes says, "Did rat hurt you, Erky? Fairy?"
Yes. Ow.
And Tunk,
whoa.
Oh my
there
God.
it is.
Sorry,
That
that's
is
from
so ominous.
Yeah, sorry guys. You're not gonna die,
Foreshadowing.
Erky.
Foreshadowing.
Tunk slowly lifts the hammer above his head, seeming much heavier than it was before, and then just slams it on the top of the rat's head.
Oh, sorry.
There's like Erky's like
Yeah, yeah. I think kind of the sight of the rat makes you feel a little bit queasy.
Can I make a medicine check to attempt to discern if I'm screwed?
Yes, please.
15.
You're quite concerned, actually.
This is not good. He said he didn't want to say that out loud, but he said it out loud. Then he kind of.
You notice that where the bite was, it's kind of turned to almost like bark around your finger.
We must find the tree.
Tunk, seeing this and not quite understanding, calls out to the rest of the group to inspect.
And yeah,
What's going
Baggi
on?
comes running in and asks what's happened.
I think Belloc and his minions have been experimenting on this rat in some way that ties to the tree. And we thought it was dead, but it bit me. And I show my finger where it bit me and how it's starting to really, really look bad and kind of barky. And I go, I don't know what the prognosis is here, but I think we need to find the tree and find it quickly.
Can I
Yeah, go on.
can I use my herbalism kit to just try and decipher what that mixture is?
Yeah, sure. So let's do it with what do you reckon, a wisdom?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it wisdom. Cool. Yeah, dark liquid. Probably not nice.
Mm.
And I point out that I point out the bits of leaves. Looks like they're kind of mixed in with liquid. I think that came from the tree. That's something to do with the tree.
I was hoping we could take a nap, but I think I don't think we have time.
Does Erky, well, given how Erky's feeling, does he get a sense, and based on his medicine check as well, does he get the sense that a nap would? He's kind of weighing the benefits of the nap versus the pressing of time, and does he think that a nap would likely be doable?
I think you've got you see in your head that you've got some time. You don't think this is going to kill you in the next hour. You've got at least at the end of the day, and
maybe even...
that vision of balance and of things move and things die and things happen in the natural progression, in its chaotic nature. The idea that balance is not real, that things come, things go, bites happen, people die. That your purpose is here at this time to do something for this group, to stop something for this tree. Because that's how nature and that's how chaos works. And
if
you
we
kind
can,
of...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And you kind of figured that starts to come through, and it's probably your first time in your religious career that chaos has come into it. You've always been a being that has looked at balance.
Well, that was well timed, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
We should, if a nap is needed, a nap we should take, because that would potentially mean the difference between the rest of you being able to take out this tree without me versus none of us being able to take it out with all of us. So let us take some sort of rest.
Okay, just a small nap then.
Short nap.
Short nap.
Just a short nap.
We can all take a time out.
Hour nap.
Can we sleep somewhere where this gross rat isn't, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I just moved you to the north. Just giving you a small clue of where you might need to be going next. So I'm just going to leave you up there.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh.
Also, in here, Baggi definitely picks up some more arrows because she has been trigger happy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, so I'm going to say everyone fills up on stuff.
Yeah.
Erky, I'm guessing you kind of go to the corner and sort of sit.
Yeah.
When you say fills up on stuff,
I'm talking about arrows and things like that. So
okay, fine.
There's some scimitars here, but they're pretty bad quality, so they're just normal scimitars. But most of the things there is arrows.
If we're taking
what do you want to be there, Tunk?
It's more I'm out of rage. I've only got 2 before I have to take a long rest, so that might just have to be it. But yeah, that was more of what I was pointing at.
I see.
If we're taking a nap, then Erky will use one of his hit dice, and we'll see how we roll to top off his hit points as he can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
Yeah, I think Pups, you recognise the look of somebody talking to someone else, shall we say, in a room. They seem to be talking to things around them rather than the people in the space. And Erky, and you kind of give space to Erky.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Erky and what you kind of say.
Can you repeat? I'm not sure. What was that again? In terms of
you're praying essentially.
Oh,
so you start to speak, and Pups, as a religious person, Pups recognizes that you're praying.
Yes. Yeah, he is, beseeching his goddess to watch over his new friends if something were to happen to him in the next few hours. And that's pretty much, I think, what the sum of it is. He does get his channel divinity back in a short rest, but otherwise that is what he is doing.
All you feel is breeze and you sneeze because of some pollen. And that's enough of a sign for you. Of like, I've been hurt. And you feel much more at ease. Even with the bark covered finger, you feel sated. Like, this is purpose. This is what's his worth. This is the point.
He's like, it's like an hour of just almost like meditation, just deep breathing, reducing the anxiety, falling back on the teachings of Myliki, and like, whatever happens, happens. I have faith that this tree will be destroyed with or without me.
Yeah.
Joe, how do you feel about me rolling a d20, and if it's above 10, then I get one of my rages back?
If you can tell
And he
me
also
why.
asks his goddess to give Tunk one of his rages back.
So,
Okay. Let's go back to Erky. Can you roll a d4 for me?
A D4. Sure.
You have 3 hours left.
I have 3 hours left?
You have 3 hours left. You and that's the price. To bestow a long rest upon everybody. That is the price. Is that you have 3 hours of your life left. Myliki says that I believe that to be balance.
He doesn't say anything to the group, but he kind of looks between the yes checkbox and the no checkbox that has appeared in his mind. He moves the mouse clicker to yes, and he's like, perhaps this nap will bestow more upon us than we originally had intended. And he accepts her offer.
Cool. So yeah, so you've all had the benefits of a long rest. Including you, Erky. So if you want to change any...
I should hope so, guys.
But yeah.
So do our hit points go back up?
Yeah. You go hit the points go back up. You regain any hit dice that you've half of hit dice that you've used. Spell slots, anything else that needs a long rest, so rages, etc., etc.
Oh, that was a trade-off.
Yeah.
Oh, Erky.
Okay.
So Tunk has kind of looked around the room as he's spent this hour in silence, and he's seen his beaten and battered friends, and particularly his new friend, Fairy, who's just been bitten, and he summons up some sort of strength from deep within himself and knows that this has to be finished, and he has to use every last ounce of strength he has. And he picks himself up, he walks over to Erky and bends down and just says, "It's gonna be okay, Fairy. Wishes do come true."
It's fine. We've got this. I have faith in all of you.
And he coughs.
And Tunk lifts him up and puts him in his hood.
Oh my god, I wasn't ready for this today.
He's like, everything is gonna be okay.
Oh, and we believe him.
Yeah, we believe him. Oh my god. Yes. Yeah, you believe him. There's not even an ounce of like, what's this to do with this? As far as you're concerned, it's like, yeah, Erky did a prayer and we're all sorted. This is great. As you see the door that goes to the east.
Let's go take us down a tree, shall we?
Let's go chop a tree.
As you open the door, and it is a small chamber, 10 foot by 10 foot. But what you do hear is, there's a killing stuff, stuff and things, head and kill, and blood and stuff coming through the door. To the west, east. Yes, to the east. Over here.
I think Baggy feels like that song is quite familiar. Reminds her of groundskeeper Grack. So I think she kind of goes up to investigate. Is the door open, Joe? Or
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I think Baggy's just going to try and open it enough so that she can just about see into the room.
Okay.
Quietly. Can I do a stealth check?
So let's do a stealth check. That's good enough for me.
Okay.
You creak the door open. Do you want to walk into the room? And see, and at least be able to look around the corner. So I need you to kind of go into that little alcove space.
She's in.
Okay, and you see an orc. An old orc. Tending to a garden. And he's like, let's kill and stuff. Chopping heads and death and things. And he's all in orcish. As he's tending this garden, this beautiful garden actually, considering that there's no sunlight down here, like the garden is okay, and you see nodules of this like illuminous fungus like hanging from the ceilings and the walls, and it grows into like clumps inside the flagstones as they're kind of all the way across. You see sort of carvings on the stone that aren't covered by the fungus, but you see something that's written on them. They see like dragons depicted in various stages of life, raining upon terrified people. Soil and compost covers half of the chamber's floor and allows a variety of feeble plants to grow. A bench containing simple gardening implements resting against the west wall, and you see an orc that you recognise as he is tending, but much younger. In his younger days, tending a garden.
So Baggy knows she wants to go into the room to talk to the orc, but I think she beckons the others to come and wait in this little alcove before she goes in. And she says to them that there's an orc. I'm going to go and talk to him, but can you all have my back and just wait here? And then I think she goes in, and I think in Orcish she basically sings what he's just been singing back, and blood and stuff and to kind of show.
Yeah, and he drops into like a bass harmony for you. And sings with you. So
and she's there.
And they kind of you finish the song together. And the last line is always like, and death to the enemies. And he turns to you and he goes, strong orc. Proud orc, yes.
Baggy says, yes, very proud orc. Good to see you, friend. All in Orcish, obviously.
Yes. Do I know your clan? And he's like confused by this.
And Baggy decides to pretend as though he should recognize her. So she just goes, of course, Clan Island. and then immediately compliments his garden.
Oh, thank you. So let's bring up his picture so everyone can see it, because he's such a lovely picture. Groundskeeper Grack. There we go.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, thank you,
Mhm.
proud orc. I tend to keep this garden alive. They will be strong, regardless of the lack of light. I believe they will be strong. Yes! Like, hits his chest.
And Baggy says, yes, and hits her own chest. And then says, but, Brett, how do you keep them strong down here when there is no light?
And he looks across and he goes, the purple. They keep them strong. But also through adversity, we are strong. Through struggles, we are strong.
And Baggy nods in agreement, and also in kind of sort of prosperity. And I think she reaches into her pocket and says, and pulls out the sort of purple glowing stuff that she pocketed earlier.
Yes, yes.
And she says, it's beautiful, but what does it do, Crack? I don't understand.
It gives light and life in this dark place. See, you can eat it. And he picks it up and he's like, it is safe.
Okay,
One of the
and I think
safest things down here.
so. Baggy, obviously trusting Grack completely, and full of kind of intrigue, but also wanting to check. I think she takes off a tiny piece of it in her hand and swallows it.
It's delicious. It's like truffles.
Amazing. So she says to Baggy, not Baggy. Baggy says to Grack, Does it have healing properties?
I'm afraid not. Just gives life to the plants. But I'm just here to tend the garden, as Balek asks.
And Baggy says, yes, Grack, your plants are beautiful. They're amazing. I am looking for one plant in particular. I think it's Belek's tree.
And he goes sheepish. And it's very unusual for you to see an orc go sheepish.
Yeah.
He's saying, that is not to be spoken of.
And Baggy, obviously recognizing that it's something that he really doesn't want to talk about and has gone sheepish, I think Baggy leans forward and asks how Belek treats Grack.
I am proud. And that's all he says.
Okay.
But you kind of see the rips across his arms of the scar of claws across his arms. It's like, I tend the garden. Ah, young orc, I have a gift. He puts his hands in his pocket and he pulls out a glass jar and hands it to you. And it's all these black dots inside. And he says, for enemies.
Baggy takes them. She bows her head. She doesn't say thank you because it's enough. She knows it's a gift. She takes it as a gift. And she recognizes the bugs immediately. She knows that they're fleas. Baggy asks Grack, is this something that Belek wouldn't like.
He wouldn't like this. But you are orc, and I am proud of you.
And I think Baggi, considering this is probably the first time that she's ever had anyone say that to her, kind of tries to hide the fact that she's very emotional. And she says, I am proud.
Excuse me. I must go and weed the sunflowers. And you look over it, this is like this pitiful amount of sunflowers that are like about this high, and they're just all wilting. But he goes over and they are clean of weeds. As he fastidiously goes and goes over to weed them and make sure that they stay healthy.
Right.
You notice there's a door behind you that leads northwards.
Great. Now that
So to say, I want to say thank you for that, because that was a lovely scene. So thank you.
Beautiful.
It was lovely. So, realizing that Grak is very much busy attending to his sunflowers, she goes up to the door and she peeks around and says, "The coast is clear. I think I know the way. Come through." And kind of gestures to be quiet, especially to Tunk.
And has the door been open the whole time, Joe? Can we hear Baggi talking in Orc?
Yeah, you heard them speaking in Orcish, but you don't know what they said. But you know that they have been speaking to the gardener, to somebody. But you don't know what they said.
And Goblin and Orc are distinctly different languages, correct?
Very different language. Very, very different language. Yeah, this is pure, like, strong orc.
And while they've been out in the little reception area, Oshi's shaken Pup's hand and has just said an apology, and then points to her neck.
Pups just smiles.
Yeah, she's not giving him his gem back though.
I just realized that if there's an orc that works down here, we know that goblins are here and upstairs, and that from my time as a prisoner, Belloc has often, when those human adventurers came through, he asked for them to be sent down here. Do we potentially have a means to pass safely amongst goblins and orcs if some of us act as prisoners?
The old Wookiee.
Yeah. If we're confronted, maybe that could be a response that we take. But
yeah, considering you've got a half orc and a goblin with you, I think that's a fairly strong tactic. And as Paul Flannery says, there's only other 3 tactics. Wookiee, describe the ship, and what's the other one? Sneak yourself in elf pudding. It's literally the only 3 the 3 tactics.
Yeah. So Baggi and I take the lead, and or flank the 3 of you in the center.
Yeah, I like that.
Tunk.
Yes, okay.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to play cops and robbers, okay?
Cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Who is cops and robbers?
Townsguard and Oshi. We'll call it Townsguard and Oshi.
Townsguard and Oshi, okay?
Okay. I'll be cops and robbers.
Yes, yeah. You can be
Hello. Cops and robbers. Hello.
Well, I need you to be sad. I need you to make a sad face.
Hello. I am cops and robbers.
and me and Baggy are going to be the nasty towns guard, and we're going to lead you through this dungeon.
Okay.
No. Good. It's a very good sad face.
Tunk, could you do a performance check for me, please?
Oh, no. Come on, Tom.
Yes, I can.
Come on.
Yeah! Dame Maggie Smith
Maggie?
would be jealous of this performance. As literally this prisoned dwarf places his hands together. He takes a deep breath. Centers his feet so that they are hip width apart. Raises up. And then suddenly goes and clicks down into the performance of a captured dwarf.
Pups is a little moved by this and sort of wipes a bit of wetness away from her eye and says, "Okay, but Tunk, if you hear me say doggy, it's time to stop the performance. It's time to fight. Okay."
So Rob, from this point onward until we hear doggy, you can go with performance. Okay.
Yeah.
We can go
Got
way
it.
past Tunk. We can go into a different place completely. All right.
Very well, young goblin. So now is the hour of our discontent. Lead on, for time is precious.
As the goblin leans forward and takes hold of the door and pushes it open. Very nice. What you're confronted with is the guy's good at 48. Yeah, so very, very similar to what you've just come through. So this is very much like an extension of the gardens. And the garden kind of continues going northwards, but also has a small alcove that kind of goes through to the east. But also continues northwards to a door at the end of the corridor.
Let's go up to the right.
To the east.
To the east, yes.
Okay, cool.
Lead Tunk up to the east.
Erky is falling in line beside Tunk.
And he coughs. Okay. What do you do at the door?
Can I hear anything the other side of the door?
Do perception.
You said this. I know the last area was all composty and stuff. Is this also?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Like...
Erky's going to try to see if he can see where the most foot traffic is through this path to see if that's a hint as to where to potentially go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that would be though. If that's survival or perception or invest or what.
Let's have a look. Let's do a perception. Northwards. So you see, like, there's a set of tracks that kind of head northwards.
He'll whisper to the group, I don't know what's beyond that door, but the most traveled path seems to be north to south.
Good idea.
And on the other side of the door, Pups, you hear clunk, shovel, move. Clunk, shovel, move. And it seems to do like something that you've heard before on this level.
I think you're right, Erky. Let's keep going north.
Okay. So you kind of head north to the north door.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small bench of like tools and things like this on here, which are like gardening tools, and a small wheelbarrow. And it kind of leads you up to a doorbell, doorbell? No, not a doorbell, a door on the north edge.
Erky tries to get Tunk to crack, and he points to the wheelbarrow and say, "Fairy cart."
No, young gnome. It's a wheelbarrow.
I love this. I love this so hard. Oh, good.
Take inspiration for that. Okay, so yeah, you go towards the door. I'm guessing you keep the door open because that's the general route.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can come into this like arboretum. This luminous mist blurs the edges of this octagonal chamber. Nodes of glowing fungus dot the stone walls and ceiling, as well as the caps of toadstools, mushrooms, small polyps, puffballs, and lichen. Humid air reeks of rot. And you sort of see that this is like a very much a growing space. Lots of things have kind of grown in here, and come on. Why aren't you moving? Sorry, guys. Here you go. And so you can see that there's a doorway that leads to the southeast. Southwest. Yes, Morden.
Southwest.
Wimbledon. Okay, Wimbledon. Southwest.
And that is the only door, eh?
That is, yeah. Just check that's still working. Great. Just trying to figure out why it's not jumping me there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's the only door that we can see is southwest.
Okay. We keep moving on.
Yeah.
There's
I think
lightning
so.
strikes in the South London. Okay. So you open the door and you see that there's like a corridor that leads south. It's about 10 feet wide. I'd say it's about 20 feet high. But it seems to be a lot drier in flavour than the arboretums that you have just been in.
Okay. Pup sort of takes a sort of a check round to the rest of the party, sort of sees that Erky and Tunk have very much adopted this captor prisoner kind of vibe, and then looks round to see what Baggi and Oshi have adopted.
And Oshi says, with no one around, I'm not going to pretend to be lower than I am.
Perhaps we should use the wheelbarrow to carry the burden of this captivity.
Oh, can you get a lifetime supply of inspiration? Is that a possibility? Oh, moving on. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so you go south?
Yes.
Great. So as you head down south, you see a very similar into the room. Yeah, there you go. You see a very similar scene to what you've seen a long time ago in the dungeon of a shrine. A dragon-carved granite block lines the chamber walls and the ceiling of this crumbled and debris-filled room. A huge marble statue of a rearing red dragon stands on the western wall. The eye sockets of the dragon are empty, but a red glow lingers there, providing reddish light throughout the chamber. The radiant casts an inky shadow behind the statue's wide wings. A 5-foot diameter circle tile of dark stone here is set in the floor in front of the dragon statue. Runes are carved around the circular tile's inner edge. So again, this is very much similar to the shrine that you saw before. This seems a lot more elaborate than the last lot.
Oshi investigates around.
Cool.
Do you want me to roll an investigation?
Yes, please.
Nice.
So you see in Draconic, in the tile's inner edge, so here, you see, let the sorceress power illuminate my spirit.
Mm-hmm. And can she see? Can she walk around a bit? Can she see if she sees any traps or anything? Can she go to the back of the statue?
Yeah, if you want to go to the back of the statue. So you go to the back of the statue, it's a perception check. Cool. You see a loose stone at the back of the... so I'm just going to move you over there. To the back of the statue, you see a loose stone in the wall.
Okay, and could she use her thieves' tools to find out if it's a trap or not, or would that be perception again?
It would be an investigation, so you have to go touch it.
Okay, she goes to touch it. Do you want me to roll investigation? Oh,
And this being turns up in front of you.
what the flip?
Get your hands off my holies of the holies. Roll initiative, please.
All of us.
Yes, please. Let's go straight into initiative.
Here we
As
go.
a shadow creature who appears to be completely invisible suddenly appears in front of you. And he's very, very upset that you have touched his holies of holies.
So he's completely invisible to me.
But he's now become invisible. He's chosen to show himself.
Right.
Okay. You guys rolled an initiative? Great. 17. Yeah, I see that. Great. Descending. Great. So, Oshi, you get the first attack on this.
And he's seen her, hasn't he? She can't hide. The shadow person, like she's
No, she's on her own.
right. Well, I don't even know. Like a shadow person, what do they do? She takes her rapier and just tries to stab it into him.
Cool. 6 misses, unfortunately.
Oh,
And she goes to hide.
Cool. Okay, so Tunk, you have no idea that anything is wrong.
Has he heard anything?
No. You've seen her run back around. Oh, did you move?
She's hidden. So
Oh, you move around. Did you move around there? Yeah.
Yeah, is that okay? Am I allowed to do that?
It's probably best if you disengage. I'm just going to say now because I'm going to hit
Okay,
you with
I'm gonna disengage. Does that count as
Yeah.
my extra action, or can I
It
disengage
does,
and
yeah.
run?
No, it'd be disengage. Disengage would be your bonus action, and then you would run around the corner, and next time
Okay.
you'd be able to hide, because otherwise I'm
Okay,
going to
yeah.
hit you with an opportunity attack.
Yeah, she disengages and runs around.
Okay, cool. So you see Oshi run around the side and be a little bit panicked.
And Tunk falls to his knees and begins to sob, saying, The effects of life underground has a toll too large for anyone to take upon their weary shoulders. Why? Why must we be cursed with a lack of sunlight that does once lick our soft faces so?
And this shadow comes round the corner and goes, "Why indeed? Thus the light come upon us, yet we disappear. Please." And he drops to his knees. "I just want to see the sun." And he begins to cry as he lands to the floor, broken by this performance. As it envelops his very soul of wanting to see the sun but never being able to do so.
Can Tunk say, perhaps in a place of darkness, you can become the shadow that once haunted my back?
I will follow thee.
Oh my gosh.
It's getting silly now, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
No, not silly enough.
So you see, Oshi, more importantly, you see the shadow move around and come into the centre of the room, leaving the loose brick open.
And even though I've had my turn, can I still do things without fighting?
I'm going out of turn order now. Like, it's
Sweet.
sort of... No, we're into role play now. So
Sweet.
Great.
So she's read that. The statue says, let the sorcerer's power illuminate the... What was the end word?
Sorry, give me one sec.
Sorry.
Illuminate my spirit.
Illuminate my spirit. Amazing. Thank you. So whilst the spirit person, sorry, the shadow person and Tunk audition for
go for the audition for the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yes.
You carry on with something else.
They're both trying to out King Lear each other. She runs to the back and pushes this, or pulls the stone out or pushes it.
Yeah, cool.
She fiddles it anyway.
You find 34 gold pieces and 2 flasks of alchemist fire. Dan and Rob, you'll know what alchemist fire is, but yes, you find 2 flasks of alchemist fire.
Okay. Oh, she runs back.
Do you want to do a history check to see if you know what it is?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. She was going to do something else, but she's not going to. She's going to do a history check.
Oh, smash that.
Absolutely smashes it. Okay, cool. So let me just get the object up. Okay. There you go. So you see essentially it's like fire in a jug. So you can chuck it at people. And if it explodes, it creates 1d4 of fire damage for each of its turns, and continually creates like a fire in an area, and everyone has to create a dexterity check to make sure that they can kind of get rid of the fire. But it's quite a powerful little piece of chemistry, essentially.
Fantasy napalm.
Exactly. D&D napalm.
And it's what's the spread of it? 20 feet around?
Yeah, so as you throw it, it
Yeah.
creates 20 feet,
Okay, cool.
essentially.
Cool, thank you.
Diameter or radius? So 40 to 20.
Let's have a quick look. Da-da-da-da-da.
Can I also ask a question just for the group? You know, if it says we've got a proficiency...
Oh, my apologies. Sorry, it's 20 feet of 20 feet of range,
Yeah.
and it attacks against a creature. So it's like you
One
throw it
creature.
at somebody. Yeah, you throw it
Okay,
at
cool.
somebody.
Cool, thanks. And if it says a proficiency of a certain language, does that mean I can speak that language?
You can speak that language. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oshi comes back round to... Oh, why can't I... Oh, I've got myself into pickle now. Oshi stands next to Baggy and whispers to her in Orc and explains what she's just found and says, "Oh, you can eat the purple light." It all in Orcish.
And I think Baggy kind of looks at Oshi like, "What? You've been able to speak Orc this entire time?" And she says to Oshi in Orcish, "Yes, you can eat it. How are you speaking this language?"
And then Oshi moves back next to the dragon statue and just watches Tunk and the shadow monsters.
Oh, mine eyes! And then it goes over to Tunk.
You know where it says, "Let the sorcerer's power illuminate my spirit"? What was that written in again, Joe? Sorry?
It was written in Draconic, so the only person who's actually read that has been Oshi.
Okay.
So we don't know yet.
You don't know yet, unless you speak Draconic. You don't know.
Do they see that there is something written on it?
Yeah, they see something written on it. They just don't know what it is. And Erky, and like a small piece of blood comes out of Erky's mouth.
Oh goodness me.
Did you say?
Go on, sorry, Pups.
Did you say, Joe, that the dragon's 2 eye sockets are empty?
They're empty, yeah, but they still got red lights through them.
They've still got red lights in them.
Yeah. Even though they're empty.
And there is a door here to the north, correct?
Yes, there is a door to the north.
Oshi listens at the door while the performance is still going on.
You hear nothing.
She tries to open the door.
Yep. So the door just opens up and you are led into a different room. So in this room, so you're leaning and like fallen stone bookshelves fill this chamber. Though the path connects between 2 wooden doors on the opposite sides of the room, so you see another wooden door over here. There are torn and burnt pages, bindings and scrolls, disordered piles in all of the corners of this room. It's like the worst library that could ever be created is here.
Oshi ushers everyone to be near her and be out of the range of the dragon's eyes. Like, just don't be right in front of the dragon.
Yeah.
The shadow's going to continue in the soliloquy and just continue on as you guys move on into the next room.
Lovely.
Tunk calls back over his shoulder and he says, "Thank you, Dark One, for though your absence of light, you have illuminated my soul."
He hasn't heard you because he's too busy doing a scene in which he has seen God. So you come into the library.
And are any of the papers written in common or draconic or?
Do you want to do a check around? Have a look.
Yeah.
So perception. Please roll well.
Come on.
Can I help?
For flip's sake. Can I use inspiration?
Yes, you can. Use inspiration. Roll it again.
I use my inspiration.
And I will use the help action to give her to assist her and move things for her to give her
cool.
advantage.
16.
Yeah, 16. Okay, so inside of the wrecked and destroyed paperwork, you find a spell scroll of Scorching Ray. You also find a spell scroll of Melith's Acid Arrow. So you find 2 spell scrolls. Spell scrolls work as that you can, if you are able to use them, as in you are able to cast them, you can use them without using any spell slots. So that is a Scorching Ray and a Melf's Acid Arrow. You also find a Tome of Dragon Lore, bound in dragon scale, written in Draconic, and it's worth 150 gold pieces.
She pockets that, and then turns to the group, because I don't think I can use those spells.
No.
So she offers them out to the group to see if anybody else can.
I can cast spells. I believe Erky can cast spells.
But can
The
you cast
only
that
thing I
spell?
can spell is misery.
And literally that kind of resonates resonates through this particular scene, as we're going to go to another break before we crack on. So I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes time.